just before we get on to Padraig's best man speech, I'd just like to wish Brian and Laura personally congratulations and all the best, and hope you have a long and happy life together. And as Brian comes up, or sorry, Padraig comes up, I think as all the lads on the stag know, he's about to do something. So here he is.
Hello, I'll try and say something. I don't know if I'll do anything. And I know Dad was talking about pressure, but my God, after those speeches, I'm telling you, I'm feeling a bit of pressure now. So, okay, before I start the character assassination of Brian, just a few compliments. Of course, first to the two bridesmaids. Where are they? Can't even see them now. They've disappeared. Mary and Fiona, who are looking stunning. So I don't know. There's probably not too many glasses out here, so I'll avoid a toast and I'll just say, oh, go on, sure. Toast to the girls.
Cheers.
And secondly to Laura, who of course is looking absolutely beautiful and wonderful. That dress came from Sligo, I think. It's not just fine men we have down there. So, and I think, yeah, so it's been a fantastic day so far. So, younger brother Brian, now where's Mum? Mum will probably kill, baby brother, yes, Mum will probably kill me for saying this, but Brian was actually an accident. She told me this a while ago. The trauma of trying to look after three of us, me, Mary and Kieran under 18, was a bit too much. Brian wasn't on the radar at all at that stage. But it sounds like it might have happened down here in Connemara. So 4 years later, Brian arrived. I think it may have been an accident, but it's the best ever accident that happened to the McCaffrey family, because it's hard. It's hard to imagine life in our house without Brian, you know. And everyone is given lots of compliments, and it's not my job to do that today, Brian. To be fair, okay. So I guess the first thing was I was a little bit worried you weren't going to ask me. Actually, took you a few months to even say, will you be my best man? I think Brian was wondering, was I going to be that kind of annoying older brother who spent most of his childhood telling him what to do and just completely wind him up and slag him off? Or would it be the more sentimental, emotional Padraig, and I'd go over and give you a big hug and tell all the good stories? So anyway, after a lot of soul searching and I think a 5-second conversation with Kieran, I decided that I won't say anything about the time Brian broke his legs running away from the guards one Halloween night. Nor will I mention the time when I'd actually just got back from casualty. I think I'd broken my thumb playing football, and I just come home and was in the kitchen, and Brian was always, you know, trying to kind of wind us up, and he was talking about us beating him up. He was actually the one beating us up. So Brian went to kick my thumb, and I went and blocked it with my other thumb, and what happened? He broke my thumb, so we were straight back up to casualty, back to the same doctor to get the other hand stitched up. And the funniest thing about that is we were in the doctor's. I was in the doctor's 6 months later with Mum, and she saw the note that came back from the hospital and said, "Child's thumb broken due to domestic violence." Well, Laura, to be fair, I think he got it out of his system at a young age. Nothing to worry about. So then, of course, you know, as everyone knows, Brian went to college. He had great crack, and I think he'd a few funny instances in college days. I won't say too much, but I suppose I have to mention his streaker phase. I won't mention the time in Prague on the bridge. I definitely won't mention the time in Jamie Mangan's garden, I think, after 8 cans of cider. And there's no way I'll say anything about London, especially Shepherd's Bush. And the funny thing is, I actually ended up living there. And, you know, the drunks in the park used to still talk about the time. The mad Irish guy with the hairy back ran around the place half naked. So, no, I'd say, look, growing up in Brian, you know, it was a pleasure. And I had to get in the way between these two lads on a fairly frequent basis. They were always kind of scrapping with each other, you know. But, you know, we had a great time, and I suppose one of the things about Brian was, you know, he was always brilliant. Anything he turned his hand to, he was absolutely fantastic at. And, you know, it wasn't easy for me and Kieran, whether it was pitch and putt, PlayStation, Super Nintendo, Even 5-a-side, by the time he was 15, he was kind of beating us, you know. But there's one thing, and it's come up a lot already, it's the football. Who's better at the football, Brian, okay? Okay, I'll give you this much. You could definitely, you'd a good old right pegging, you know, you could, you know, and left, okay, to be fair. I probably couldn't hit a barn door. But for anyone who hasn't seen Brian playing football, watching Brian, you know, turn on a football pitch is like watching an Arctic truck reverse up a country lane. By the time he's actually turned, it's usually half time. And look, he has given huge commitment over the years. And you know, as Dad said, Brian, 20 years of commitment and still no senior championship medal. So, Laura, I think you got to let him back for one more year. And look, Laura, you know, let's be honest about it, you know, I think for the past 8 years, you've had to dedicate a fair bit of your life, you know, to Brian's football devotion as well. I don't think you had no idea when you came down there for Brian's 21st, how many cold, wet Saturday afternoons you'd spelled up in Coolbeg, or how many nights you'd be dragged into Harry's bar, usually after we lost Thurles Strand in the championship. But, you know, you've been hugely committed to Brian, and I know he's like really appreciated that, like, over the years. Of course, Brian has shown certain commitments to Laura as well. Made a few sacrifices, none more so than when we were in Poland a couple of years back. Brian was, I suppose, I could only handle 3 or 4 days at that stage now. I was a married man, so I was well kept, as you were going to find out soon enough. But Brian was due to stay out for 10 days, but I think on about day 7 or 8 he started getting a bit lonely for Laura. So he snuck out, said nothing to anyone, booked the first Ryanair flight back home. Oh, Laura booked it, there you go. You didn't even do it yourself, you rang her and told her to take me home. So absolutely nothing to do with the fact that he hadn't slept properly in 10 days and probably couldn't talk from singing Ooh Ah Paul McGrath non-stop. We might hear a bit of that later on from John Noel and Keelan Bolton, I'd say, will we? But look, Laura, I know Dad has welcomed you formally into the family, and but look, let's be honest about it. I think you've been a part of our family for a long time. You know, we all know how lucky Brian is, you know, to have you as his wife, and in Mary you've got a great friend. You know, I know how well you get on with Mum and Dad, and certainly, you know, myself and Kieran, I think at this stage you're almost like our second sister. So, you know, it's like, I would just like to extend the welcome to the family as well. So, getting there, I won't keep you too much longer. I guess, look, Brian and Laura, I wish you the best now and forever. As you go through your life together, always love each other, respect each other and be there for each other. But like, at the end of the day, Brian, let's be honest, the bottom line is that Laura's always right. You know that. Trust me, I know. I've been married 4 years now and I struggle with this. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm apologising for. So Claire, I don't know where you are, you're probably looking after our wonderful son Daniel, so I apologise for even bringing this up, and I really apologise for the state I'm going to be in the morning. I am not on duty, you're mad. I've got to pass until about 5. But no, seriously, when I look at you two guys, I see two great people, two people with warm hearts, always willing to help each other out and help others out. Two people who I know are really in love, and two people with great kindness and loyalty. And I know Dad mentioned it, you know, when I look down here, I often say, I've said it to Brian a few times, you know, not many people have friends from from their entire life. And both Brian and Laura, I know even Laura has friends from, I think she met a couple of her friends when, you know, your mum was in hospital, you know, when you were even born. And I think it is really incredible that, you know, both Brian and Laura have these really great friends, you know, right from, you know, primary school up to secondary school, college, and into work. And you know, what I would say to you guys is, if you can hold those people so close for so long, I've absolutely no doubt that you hold each other close and you'll look after each other deeply for the rest of your life. So, you know, I wish you all the best, and here's to Brian and Laura. And one very last thing, I have to mention this. These guys are going on a 6-week honeymoon. 6 weeks. It's like 3 honeymoons. Brian's the first person I've ever known who's had to take a career break to go on his honeymoon. So look, everybody, have a great day. The sun hasn't quite come out, but at least it's trying. I know it's going to be an absolute cracker. Take care.